I'm going to try and make this video as short as possible, but mastering the major scale is not a joke. It's a big task. But using these 3 steps, I believe that in a shorter amount of time, you'll be able to get an overview of the major scale and also become familiar with the whole fingerboard and get an overview over the whole fretboard. We're going to firstly look at the wording of a scale. And then secondly, we're going to look at the 3 positions of the major scale. And then thirdly, we're going to look at variations of how to practice those 3 positions to gain exactly that, to gain the overview of the fingerboard. All right, so stay tuned. All right, first step is wording. And this is, I believe this is where this learning the scale gets difficult, because we have 5 different ways, probably more, but the ones that I can recognize is 5 different ways, 5 different perspectives of saying the same scale, the same major scale. So we can talk about the major scale using the fingers, as in we can go from an A major scale, we can go second finger, fourth finger, first finger, second finger, fourth, first, third finger, fourth. So you can use the fingers as the perspective of the scale. You can also use numbers, which has the approach of where the major scale is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So it all has the perspective of the numbers being the major scale, as in if it was a dominant major scale, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a flat 7, 1. Or if it were a minor, you'd have 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. I personally really like that system because it's numeric, so that it can easily translate to other scales. Anyways, it takes the perspective of that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the major scale. And then you have the steps, which is like from the beginning, from the first note, you have a whole step, and then you have a whole step, you have a half step, you have a whole step, a whole step, a whole step, and a half. So you can use the steps as a perspective. You can also use the shapes, as in how it looks on your instrument, and particularly on the bass. So you can see how that becomes a figure, so that you can memorize it. And you can focus on the intervals, which will be tonic, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, and then an octave or 1. So you have that perspective as well. And you have the oldie but goodie. So this actually is the 6th one, and that is memorizing all of the notes on each scale. So instead of thinking about the numbers, instead of thinking about intervals, instead of thinking about fingers or the shape, you think about just the notes, as in A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. And then you have to practice all of the 12 different keys and a lot of different scales as well. So I recommend that approach. Anyways, I want to give a big shout to Luke from Become a Bassist, that YouTube channel, because he actually inspired me to think of this step as the wording step, because he points out that you have all of these different ways of talking about the same scale, and that obviously becomes a lot. So it gets confusing to know what the major scale really is, because you end up combining different ways of talking about the same thing. So what I do recommend is that you have to kind of learn them all, but pick a style that works for you. Maybe 1 or 2 or even 3. So like I say, I personally like to use the numbers approach, because that's more how I practice scales and how I view music theory, more in the numbers perspective. But some might remember better in shapes, and some might better in intervals, or just the fingers, going 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. It's just super important to know when you're talking about music to others that you are agreeing on the system that you are talking about, the language that you're going to use when you're talking about the scale. So I can go in depth of how the wording can differentiate and the different systems and languages. But I am fairly active in the comment section, so please just put a question in the comments below if there's something you want me to elaborate on or make a new video on. So please just use the comment section. Anyways, wording is the step 1. So figure out if you want to use the fingers as the approach, numbers, steps, shapes, intervals, or the notes. I do recommend numbers and intervals because you're gonna get a lot of use of them later on. Second step is 3 positions of the major scale. And this, I have to give a shout out to Scott's bass lessons. I believe this is probably 3, 4, 5 years ago that I got that from one of his videos, but it has truly helped me. And I believe it's my responsibility to be able to share the knowledge on. And I don't mean to copyright anyone, but sharing is caring and all of that jazz. So we got 3 positions of the major scale. I like the first one, which is the one that we learn first and foremost. It's the second finger position, which in this case I'm going to play an A major scale, which is on the 5th fret of the E string. And you're going to go and I'm calling it the second finger position because you're going to go, you're going to imagine that you're having 1 finger per fret, and then you're going to go 2, 4. On the next string, you're going to go 1, 2, 4, and then you're going to go 1, 3, 4. That is the second finger position, right? And we're going to focus on just doing 1 octave scale because on bass, no matter how many strings you've got, it's symmetric all the way. And if we have the perspective of 1 octave, then we can always just keep adding on the octaves down or up compared if you have 6 strings or 5 strings or even 8 strings, if that happens. So yeah, second finger position, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. And now it's a great opportunity to use the fingers as the system. And then we have the 4th finger position, which kind of move the scales in that direction. And then you go 4th, 1, 3, 4, and then you go 1, 3, and then you go 1, 2. So you have to move away from the 4 bar, from the 4 fret position. So you go from the A on the 5th fret on the A E string, 4th finger, and then you go 1st finger, 3rd finger, 4th finger on the next string. Then you go 1st finger, 3rd finger. You could go 4th here as well, and then you swipe up to the 1st and the 2nd finger here. So that's the same major scale, just moving that direction. So we got the 2nd finger moving straight down, and then you got the 4th finger moving up left, and then you got the 1st finger position, which is going to move towards the bridge. Right, so this one only covers on 2 strings. You go 1st finger, slide a whole step, and then you go 3rd finger, 4th, and then you do this exact same movement from the string below. You go 1st finger, slide, and then 3rd finger, 4th. But it's important to not have slides every time. So you are gonna slide with the finger, but you're not gonna make it sound like a slide. You're gonna go, right? So you don't need to go, right? So just lift up but slide over. Cool. 2nd finger position, going straight down. And then we got the 4th finger position going up left. And then we got the 1st finger position going upright. These three positions are the same scale, and it's a perfect way to be able to move around the fretboard using the same notes. So this perspective and this scale with the fingers, you can just move the root to a different scale, to a different root, and then you get the same. You'll get a major scale from a different root note. I almost said root note. That would have been cool. So yeah, if I wanted to do a C major scale, I'll go on the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th fret of the E string. And then I go 4th finger position. And then I go 1st finger. Right? So those are the three positions of the same scale, and you can use them everywhere. And I also recommend you to practice them from the A string as well, which will then be a little bit different. Not different, but it will work the same way. It's just from a different place. So if I go D major, for example, the 4th finger position going up left will then have to I can't be able to go up here because I don't have a C string. I don't have the 6th string. I'll have to go and finish it off with the normal position like this. Right? Because I don't have a extra string here. And then if I do the 2nd finger position, and if I do the 1st finger position going. So that's pretty similar to if you were on the E string. All right, practice those three positions and you will not regret it. So third step of this video is practice as how to practice those scales. And we've focused on doing the major scale in 1 octave. And here's where those three positions comes great in handy, because now you can just combine the positions and then you'll get several octaves. So if I'm going to go a 2 octave major scale, for example, and since I only got 4 strings, I'm going to go and move towards the bridge. And then I'm going to go first from an A scale, A major scale, I'm going to go 1st finger position first. And then instead of ending the scale on my 4th finger, which I would normally do if I were only playing 1 octave, I will then, when I end up on the octave, I will then switch to the finger which makes most sense to the next position I'm doing. So I'm going to go 1st finger position and then I'm going to go 2nd finger position. Check this out. 1st finger, slide, 3, 4, 1st finger, slide, 3rd finger, and instead of going 4th, I'm just going to go jump in with the 2nd finger there and then go 2nd finger position. Right? So this equals all the way from A there to the 2 octave above A here. I'm going to go. Right? So that's a very a lot more simplistic way of getting 2 octave major scale. And here's the thing, practice all of those different variations and try even to go in a circle. So what you could do is that you can go up the one way, and then go down maybe like a circle, like I said, go down this way, and then go, or maybe you can go 4th finger first and then 1st finger, but it's going to be another octave of 1st finger. So yeah, with some practice there, you'll get such a good overview of the major scale. And then, of course, when you practice scale, try and creatively challenge yourself so that you get flexibility and I think it's called surplus, but I can't find the right word for it. So for example, go up in thirds. Yeah, but do that in those other positions as well. Oh, sorry. Right? Right? So you can do, just keep on doing those. You can do three note patterns. And then you do those with all of the other positions as well. So do we got and I mean, you got four note patterns. You got move up in fifths, fourths, seconds. I mean, you got a million ways of practicing scales, as long as you kind of like keep pushing yourself to have more flexibility when it comes to the scales. Anyways, I'm pretty active in the comment section below, and I would love to dive more deep into it, but I'm going to try and keep this video as short as possible. Those 3 steps really truly helped me getting an overview and to master the major scale. I'm going to do this, and you can use the same knowledge, and you can put that to the minor scale, you can put that to the dominant, you can put that to all of the modes, pentatonics. It works all over. Let me know in the comments if you want me to elaborate on anything else. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe and all that jazz. I'm going to keep posting these. Yeah, this video might be a little bit confusing, but I am learning, and maybe I'll do another one on the same topic just to make it a little bit more structured. We'll see. Let me know in the comments if you understood it. All right, take it easy.